Hello Army. Welcome back to Today News K-Wave channel. Today, November 22nd, 2025, is a day Army will never forget. No one expected a Weverse Live that started out as calm and simple to transform into a moment of honesty, warmth, and profound emotion. Jungkook, who had been surrounded by rumors, speculation, and endless social media chatter for weeks, finally spoke up. And he didn't just speak, he opened his heart. Something he rarely does, and when he did, the whole world seemed to stop. From the moment Jungkook appeared on screen, Army could sense a different atmosphere. His hair was a little messy, his black hoodie loose, his face looked a little tired, but his eyes remained warm. He tried to smile a little, but Army, who had followed Jungkook for years, knew this wasn't just another live. This wasn't a live to joke around or just say hello. There was something he wanted to say, something he had kept to himself for far too long. Jungkook began in a low, almost whispering voice, like someone choosing his words carefully to avoid any misunderstanding. Army, it's been a while, huh? He said with a soft smile. But the smile couldn't hide the tension on his face. His gaze often dropped downward, as if he were trying to hold something inside. Like there was a burden he wanted to release, but he was still searching for the right moment. The live broadcast felt very personal. There was no background music, no decorations, no distractions. Just Jungkook and the silence. And behind that silence, there were millions of Army waiting, holding their breath, hoping, and secretly afraid. Afraid that whatever he said would change everything. The first few minutes were filled with Jungkook reading the comments slowly. Occasionally he smiled, occasionally holding back a chuckle, but Army knew he was just trying to lighten the mood. But finally, after a few deep breaths, Jungkook looked up and said in a slightly trembling voice, "I know. There are a lot of rumors, and I know you must be worried." That sentence alone was enough to flood the comment section with, "We are here, we love you, take your time," and thousands of purple heart emojis. But Jungkook continued, still in a calm but honest tone. He said it took him some time to realize how the rumors about him, about the members' relationships, about his life were affecting him. He wasn't angry, he wasn't blaming anyone. Instead, he admitted he felt guilty that Army had to face a wave of rumors without any clarity. But the most touching moment of that day's live wasn't Jungkook's explanation of the rumors. It was when he paused, looked down, and his voice cracked slightly as he said, "I just want you to know, I'm okay. But sometimes, it's not easy." The silence was long, much longer than usual. And when he wiped the corner of his eye ever so slightly, just a glimpse, very quickly, but enough to be seen, Army broke down. Around the world, thousands of people wrote in the comments that they were crying. Jungkook rarely showed weakness, rarely let Army see his vulnerable side. But today, he let it all out. Honestly, he began to talk about the pressure he felt, about the ever-increasing expectations, about how he wanted to live his life happily without worrying Army. "You know," he said with a small smile but still teary eyes, "I read a lot of comments, and sometimes I feel, am I enough? Have I made you guys proud?" Those words broke Army's hearts, because if there was one person who was more than enough, who had given so much love, effort, and time, it was Jungkook. But that was him. A man who always strived for perfection, always wanting to give more, even when he himself needed a moment to breathe. And then the part that made Army's cry the most, Jungkook said that he didn't want rumors to separate the relationship he had built with Army over the years. He said that he understood the fans' curiosity, but he also asked them to trust him, that not everything had to be theorized or spread, that he was still the Jungkook they knew, even if the outside world tried to make up its own story. But among the rumors he touched on, the most striking was the way he referred to someone close to me. He said it with such care, almost hesitant, yet warm warmth. And Army immediately noticed the change in expression on his face, the way he smiled slightly, the way he bit his lower lip, the way his voice softened. Jungkook didn't mention any names, but Army, especially those who have closely followed Jungkook's interactions over the years, immediately noticed something familiar. There was a signal that felt so personal, so emotional, as if Jungkook was talking about someone who meant a lot to him.
그래서 저희는 합의 끝에 이걸 골랐습니다. 근데 안 했잖아.
He said he wasn't alone, that there was someone who always supported him, someone who always made sure he had a place to turn to when the world felt too heavy. And even though he only mentioned it briefly, Army knew. Those words weren't something he spoke lightly. Not from someone like Jungkook. A few seconds later, he smiled as he looked out of the frame, as if seeing something or someone the camera couldn't see. It was a different smile. A smile full of affection, gratitude, and relief. Army, who understood the dynamics of the members' relationships, immediately guessed, was it Jimin? Was it the person Jungkook always mentioned as his source of comfort? He didn't give an answer, but his gestures said more than words. After addressing the rumors and his feelings, Jungkook began to talk about the future. He wanted Army to know that he was working hard, that he wasn't going anywhere, that his love for them would never change. I want to be more honest in the future, he said with a soft sigh. I want you to know how I feel, but I also want you to take care of me like I take care of you. At the end of the live, Jungkook played a soft song on his phone. A soft, almost lullaby-like tune. He didn't name the song, but Army knew it was one he often listened to with someone close to him. His voice was soft, but he sang along a little, almost whispering, and it was enough to move millions to tears. Finally, before the live stream ended, Jungkook looked at the camera with sincere eyes and said, "Thank you for being with me. Thank you for believing in me. I love you. Never doubt that." It was a simple sentence, but it felt incredibly touching. After all the rumors, all the speculation, all the anxiety, Jungkook returned to his core, Army and his heart. And as the live stream ended, armies around the world felt a mixture of emotions. There was warmth, there was relief, there was pride, but there was also pain at seeing Jungkook so vulnerable. But one thing was certain. The live stream reminded everyone that beneath his global superstar status, Jungkook is still human. A human who loves deeply, feels strongly, and strives sincerely. Today, November 22nd, 2025, was more than just a live stream. It was a confession. It was honesty. It was a moment where Jungkook opened himself up and showed his rawest, most real, and most touching side. And for Army, it was a moment they will treasure forever. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every emotional moment, every detail, and every hidden connection in the world of BTS, especially our beloved Jikook. Until next time, this is Today News K-Wave channel. Borahi.